Good morning, afternoon, technically afternoon, because it is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Monday, Memorial Day. I want to say thank you to all of our vets. Unfortunately, the ones who we say thank you to for Memorial Day, unfortunately, they gave it all. They paid the ultimate sacrifice. And saw a meme that's running around right now. Good morning, Liz. I saw a meme that's running around right now. The way to repay that, or the way to honor the sacrifice that our veterans make, is to be an American worth dying for. Thought that was a really good frame to wrap around Memorial Day as a national holiday, taking time to recognize and celebrate our wounded and the ones who didn't come back, the ones who passed. So today what we're actually going to talk about kind of fits with the theme for today, which is 4 questions that you can ask yourself, you can ask other people to help unlock and release the pain in any situation, any given moment, any area of your life where you find yourself in conflict, right? And I'm going to share some value today. I'm going to have something for you guys to ask you guys at the end of this. So please stay tuned for that ask at the end. We're going to talk about this thing. Oh. So a little teaser right there. I am actually going to make some notes. If you want to write notes along at home, that's fine too. And this is kind of like a mini workshop. This is one of my favorite topics. And I say this to you as somebody who was abused as a child, repressed that for 20 years, took another 10 years to work through it, release it, unlock the learning. Any situation in your life that is negative, that still seems to hold you, or you can't seem to let it go, or it seems to be a defining moment in a negative way, I'm going to offer you a frame of reference, and if it's useful, use it, take it, and if it's not, feel free to reject it. But I have as I've been taught, and this concept is actually, good morning, Amy, this is actually coming from one of my mentors, a gentleman named Steve Linder, and it's called PARB, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But here's the thing, when it comes to those painful stuff that we have in our lives, when you can do 3 things, all that negative energy just disappears. And these 4 questions are going to help you to get in and unlock that information, to unlock that experience. These are not going to be necessarily easy questions to answer. It's going to take a little bit of effort. So it's a very simple process, but it's not easy. We say that a lot of time in Kung Fu. Simple, but not easy. If it was easy, everyone would have done it already. So the thing is, if you can say these 3 things about a negative situation, good morning, Steve Scott, or good afternoon. So number 1 is, you can talk about the situation and your role, or how you showed up, what you took away from it. You can make it about yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you can state whatever happened in the positive rather than the negative. So example, it's about yourself. Well, I learned you can't trust those people. You're not making it about yourself. You're making it about those people. That's a projection. So there's going to be energy in there that's not resolved yet. So you've got to be able to phrase it and say, well, I learned that I shouldn't make these assumptions. I shouldn't jump to these conclusions. I shouldn't project this stuff. So that's the idea, that first step. What was your role? How did you show up? What could you have done differently? The first step is you got to own your role in that whatever situation. And I was sexually abused by a security guard, and I was abused by a couple of kids up the street when I was 5 and 6. What was my role in that? Well, shouldn't have gone out past the gates and been alone with somebody that I didn't know in a situation that I had no control of. Now, should I have known that at 5 years old? Maybe. Maybe not. Is that something my parents really talked to me about at 5? No, not really. Not that I can recall, right? And even if they had told me, what I really understood, right? So that's the first step is how do you show up? The second step is you can say it in the positive. Thank you, babe. Having a delivery of delicious iced coffee. Only 50 calories when you make it at home. It's fabulous. Yay, sugar-free vanilla, sugar-free caramel. I love you. You're awesome. I'm jealous of me. And she's like, love you. Going back inside. It's too hot out here. Okay, so number 2 is, what can you say about the situation in the positive, right? And it's, well, I learned that I should never trust those people. Okay, well, never trusting, that's not positive. I learned that I should be more careful, more conscientious, more aware, more discerning. I should speak up for myself earlier. Hey, those are some good things, right? Those are some good ways to look at that frame of reference and say it about the positive. And the third thing is, you've got to be able to say it for the future, not the past, because you can't change the past. And actually, you know, these jars, I got water and I got iced coffee, but you can think about what happens in your life as the contents, or the shape of the vessel, right? This holds a certain amount of liquid, this holds a different amount of liquid. If I had a thimble, holds a different amount of liquid. Those are the events of your life, and the more meaningful, the bigger amount of energy it holds. But whatever you put in here, that's the energy, that's the emotion, right? I could put orange juice, I could put coffee, I could put battery acid, probably not a great idea for a plastic cup, but point is, you can put all kinds of emotion into those experiences in your life, or those things that happen. You can't change the reality of the thing, but you can change the contents, which is the meaning that you give it. And these 4 questions are going to help you to start changing the quantity and the quality of what you put in here, turn it from something unhealthy to something healthy. Okay? So again, those 3 things, if you can say it about yourself, if you can say it what you learned and put it in the positive, and number 3, you can say it towards the future. When you can hit those 3 qualifiers to any bad situation you've experienced, when you hit those 3, all of a sudden the negative energy is gone. The squashing yourself down, making yourself wrong, internal resistance, all the different labels we can wrap around that, it's gone. And you feel lighter. I worked with a client who was in his 50s, and we went through a thing, and he'd had an issue since he was 8. He's literally had it for like 40-something years, 50-something years. And in the space of a couple of hours, we did some change work, had a really good conversation. His shoulders dropped by about 1 inch. He was about 1 inch taller, and his whole face color changed because he's not battling himself anymore from an issue that started when he was 8 years old and had an alcoholic mom, and he had to do all these things to placate her and to please her and to get energy from her and get her to stop drinking. He had to play this role, and so it's not who he really was, but it was a pattern to influence and connect and to help shift somebody else's behavior. So when he stopped fighting himself, done. Drop that stuff, lighter, taller. So that's the power of getting into this stuff and releasing it. And you know, I'm not the person to tell you, you know, your pain is a gift. I'm not going to say that because I don't know that. My pain was a gift. My abuse actually shifted me, and as I worked through the process, I would not encourage it for anyone. I don't want to see it repeat for anyone. But by me unlocking my experience, I can say that being abused was a gift for me because it gave me tools and experiences and abilities to connect and to relate and to help serve people in a different way than others might. Because of the experience I had, it gives me a sensitivity. I've become who I needed when I was 6 years old and no one noticed I was damaged, or that I had regressed and there were some things going on. Nobody picked up on it. They just knew there was friction, but didn't know what to do about it. Good morning, Don. So, 3 things about yourself for the future and positive. Those 3, everything changes. Now, getting into the 4 questions. And I'm going to use multicolored pen because it's super, super helpful. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with some level of pain. Okay? And this is all going to be kind of metaphor, allegory type stuff. It's not like literal nuts and bolts. Get the idea of it and then you can play with it. It's called a heuristic. But have you ever experienced pain? And I hope that's like reversed properly for you guys because it's, I don't know. But anyway, -5. -5 pain. We're just going to say, you know, pain. Somebody, they hit me on the arm because they said it was a bee and they hit me and I trusted them and they scared me. And we'll call that -5 units of pain. Just as a frame. But have you ever experienced pain in your life? Okay? So what we want to do is we're going to start asking some questions to start unraveling that pain, because pain is just information. Right? We have positive energy, we have negative energy. We call pleasure, we call pain. But really it's just energy. Right? We qualify it, quantify it, like it, don't like it, attach to it. We create these labels based on the context of our lives, and we can eventually learn to kind of shift where we put the meaning. So the first step is go find a piece of pain. First step, pain. Now, depending on how intense your pain is, we can do some disassociations and put you in more control and take you further away from the event. That's why we're only starting with a level 5. I don't want you to go find 50,000. I don't want you to find the most painful moment in your whole entire life, because that's not our focus right now. Just a little tiny pain. Bee sting pain. Maybe slightly less than bee sting pain. Fly swat pain. Okay? Simple, little thing. So start with that. And the first question you want to ask yourself, number 1, and we're going to put that in black. Number 1 is we're going to say, what else, underline, underline twice, what else could this mean? Question mark, right there. What else could this mean? -5 pain. What else could this mean? And notice the key word in there is what else. Because somebody has a pain, and then immediately it means this. Okay, great. It means that. What else could it mean? What do you mean, what else could it mean? It means this. Okay, yeah, I get that it means that. But if it didn't mean that, what else is in the realm of possibility or potentiality? What else could it mean? Could it mean something else? Like you weren't invited to a party. Could that mean they don't like you? Could that mean they forgot to invite you? Could that be they thought you were busy? Could that be they thought you were too amazing and your life was too full and they didn't want to waste their time? They didn't want to be embarrassed when you said no to them, right? Those are all potentially true statements because you don't actually know what was going on in that person's head and that person's heart. Even if they told you, "Why I didn't invite you because I don't like you," still don't really know everything about that. Why don't they like you? What is it about you versus they're projecting things about they don't like about themselves onto you, and they don't like those things about themselves that they see in you, and so they're not really rejecting you because they don't understand or know you. They're rejecting their projections of you. There's a little bit of mental gymnastics in there, but what else could this mean? And that doesn't take away from whatever pain, whatever meaning you give the pain, but what else is possible? And what you want to do is get out a pen, you want to write it down. And the reason we write it down is it helps to externalize our thoughts. But the left side of your brain can only hold 7 ± 2. That means 5 to 9 things. 5 to 9 things in your head before you start looping, and you don't even realize you're looping. You're just repeating yourself and don't even know you're repeating yourself.
Evie's asleep.
Evie's asleep. Boom. Life points on the board. So, Evie asleep is sometimes a challenge. She's a beast. She fights sleep. Not that I know anything about that. My parents came and found me one time, and I was like arms flopped over the crib, dead asleep, standing up, because I've been fighting it the whole time. Fun kid. I get her energy. So, what else could it mean? You write it down because the left side of your brain only holds a limited number of stuff, and a lot of times people go into overwhelm because they actually have like 11 things on their list, but at 9 they repeat and don't realize they're repeating, and they go, "Oh my gosh, I got like 14 things. I got 75 things." No, it's only 11, dude. Write it down. So, what that does for you, this question, what else could this mean? What that does is that wraps an absolute value around your pain. Because -5 is your pain. When you put absolute values, it's no longer -5. It's just 5. It's 5 units of energy, right? Your life is going to be... Sorry, my wife tried to set it on her phone, and for some reason we have it set up with a second layer of whatever. Sorry about that, I'm back. So, when you ask yourself, what else could this mean? You turn the energy from -5 to just 5. You make the energy neutral because life is a series of ups and downs. The only time your life is totally flat is when you're 6 feet under. That's the only time. Otherwise, it's going to be this kind of stuff. Every moment, it's going to be this kind of stuff because that's life. That's your heartbeat. It's this constant homeostasis and overreaction. Whoa, dude, no homo, right? People that don't understand homeostasis means your body wants to get back to equilibrium, but it's constantly over and under adjusting and reacting, and food and sleep and people and thoughts, and crazy awesome. So, what else could this mean? Neutralizes the pain because we begin to start getting curious and we begin to start unraveling the interpretation, gives us more control. So that's your first question. What else could this mean? Your second question, number 2, is what could I learn from this? And, so right there, I put that in green. Say, what else can I learn from this? Or what could I learn from this? And that's the thing, is you could either say, what could I learn from this? Or what else could I learn from this? Because maybe I had this negative association, I learned this one thing, and you can't trust these people, and that's the end of that conversation. Hey, Danny, nice to have you, Joyce. So, what could this mean? Or, I'm sorry, what could I learn from this? Or what else could I learn from this? Right, you can say it either way. What that does is that takes this negative energy. Then we have the absolute value from our first question. Our second question, doink, 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 it turns the equation positive. Because now, instead of, hey, get off your sister. Cats. Hey! CP, run. I threw socks, it's okay. I don't know what it is with those two. I don't know if it's just being female, if it's, I don't know. CP is just sometimes a bad sister. We're working with her. She's our killer, though, so. They got in a fight one time, so we threw her outside. Comes back 15 minutes later, blood on her shoulder, feather in her mouth. Killed a bird. Cats. 25% of them, by the way, are like amazingly just they kill almost they kill 2/3 of it's incredible. I'll put the post in the link. The oatmeal, it's awesome. Sorry, tangent. I apologize. I'm back. So, what could I learn from this? What else could I learn from this? And the reason you're saying could is it opens the frame in your mind to say, well, there's these possibilities because it gives you more choice. It gives you more opportunity to take control of the thought process. So then, number 3, we're going to go blue. Number 3 is going to be, where could I apply this learning? Question mark. Where could I apply this learning? Where could I apply this learning? And again, you could say, where could I apply this learning? Or, where else could I apply this learning? Because maybe you've already applied it somewhere and you want to expand your offering, expand your experience in life. And again, under could, double underlines. Why? There we go. Double underlines. Why double underlines? Because that's the important word. It opens the frame. It opens your mind to possibilities. So where could I apply this learning? Where else could I apply this learning? And what that does for you is it begins to take this experience in one area of your life and it moves it cross-context. Now, what is cross-context? Cross-context means you learn a lesson one place and then you apply that wisdom or that logic in multiple other places, right? So as an example, in martial arts, if your hands are up, it's really hard to hit you in the face because your hands are up. So if they hit you in the face, your hands were down and you made a mistake, right? The only reason you get hit is you made a mistake. You can't control what they do right, but you can control what you do wrong. And if you never make a mistake, they can't punch you. So, if I understand that, and I don't want mom and dad to yell at me, what if I put my socks away before they tell me? What if I don't make a mistake? What if I don't leave gaps? What if I don't do this? So I take that learning of, if I maintain my self-discipline, I don't get yelled at. If I maintain my self-discipline, I don't get hit. If I maintain my self-discipline, I do the maintenance on my car. I get the oil checked. I get the fluids checked. I get the filters checked. If I do those things, I'm going to have less difficulty and pain and challenge in life. So I'm taking this idea, what I learned in one place in my life, and applying it across multiple places. When I learned that feminine, whether it's a male or female person, feminine energy only gives points until the next stupid thing or midnight, because points expire at midnight. Oh, I can apply that with every feminine person in my life. How many different contexts is that? You know, a boss, a coworker, an employee, a customer, a client, a patient, a student. How many different people could I apply that to? So, just for the sake of argument, because I'm doing a little bit of a mathematical formula over here, bam, let's say we're going to put it into 4 contexts. Okay? Now, let's run our equation really quick. So what we did was we started with -5 units of energy, and the first question, what else could this mean, takes that 5 energy, -5, and turns it into just boring old plain 5. Went from negative to neutral. Then from there, we go to green. Green takes us to +5. So now we have a +5 on there. So we went from 5, neutral, +5, positive. Then we go to the green, or I'm sorry, the blue. Where could I apply this, or where else could I apply this? We're going to go 4 times +5. That equals 20 units of energy. Does that make sense? So we went from well, here, I'll put it up on top since I'm drawing it this way. So we went -5, is where we started. Up here on top, -5. What else could this mean? Just 5. What could I learn from this? +5. Where could I apply this? 4 times +5 is +20. So, yeah. So then we have one more question. Oops, sorry, wrong color. Blue. Right, so we have one more question. And the one more question, and this is what I'm doing right now, actually. This is how you amplify whatever pain you've been through, and you begin to unlock it, transcend it, unpack it. There's lots of ways we could phrase this. But the last step is where or how or with whom could I share this? Right? And we're looking at different vehicles, different places. Because what if you took the lesson you learned from some pain in your life and you unpacked the meaning and you changed the interpretation, you found a more positive or more powerful way to apply it, and then you take that information and you begin to share it out on a larger audience? What if you could share that one shift with 100 people. So I took what was originally -5 units of energy, turned it into 5 positive, found 4 different places I could apply it, makes it 20 positive. Then I go share it with 100 people. I now have 2,000 units of energy. And that's where what you do when you start teaching what you've learned and what you've experienced and how you've shifted, when you begin to teach it, it begins to amplify, it begins to go exponential. It's like going viral. It's about how that begins to shift, positively impact, help other people to transcend their lives and their pains. That's the goal, right? And that's how you begin to take whatever you've experienced and you can begin to shift the world around you. Because everybody has pain. Everybody has difficulty. Everybody has rejection. Everybody has failure. Everybody has heartache. Everybody has headache. Everyone has things. And maybe someone's going through something similar to what you did, and you have a solution. You have a way to help them to transcend and get out of the pain. So that's the point of today, is going through those 4 questions. And going back to where I started with today being Memorial Day, military families, their husbands, fathers, brothers, sisters, mothers, wives, daughters, people they love, paid the ultimate price, laid down their life in support of a mission, in support of a vision, in support of something meaningful. And for those that passed, that may or may not have been a painful experience. But for those that are left, we now are left to carry on without them, without their energy. So it's up to us to create the story and to create the meaning that their sacrifice became, right? And if we don't choose that story, the universe will choose it for us, and it will become negative. It will be they were taken away from me. It was, those people, that country, that religion, that external factors that you just absolutely cannot control. So it's your choice to enter into this pain and have a different conversation. Your conscious mind can only handle about 137 bits of data a second. Your unconscious mind can process as 2 million to 4 million bits of data a second. That means we're constantly interpreting. We're constantly deleting, distorting, and generalizing everything we experience to make it manageable. These 4 questions allow you to start unpacking the pain to find other interpretations, because there are literally millions of things you are missing every single moment. Our conscious mind can't process everything that's happening around us and within us. That's why our unconscious is there to separate, to pull apart, to create space. Okay? So that 4th question, first one, what else could it mean? Second question, what could I learn from this? What else could I learn from this? Third question, where could I apply this? Where else could I apply this? 4th question, where or how can I share or teach? Teach this learning. And that, when you start sharing your learning, that's where it becomes exponential. Because when you have an idea and somebody else has an idea, it is an exponential experience. And here's what I mean. You have $1, I have a pen. You give me the $1, I give you the pen, we're done with the conversation, we're done with the transaction. I got the $1, you got the pen, and I gotta go do something to generate more stuff, and you gotta go do whatever you do with the pen. You have an idea, I have an idea, and we exchange. What happens now is we went from 2 ideas to 6 ideas. Wait, 2 to 6? How does that happen? Well, because I got my idea, I have your idea, and the synthesis of those 2 within me creates a hybrid 3rd idea. And you have your original idea, plus my idea, plus your own synthesis of a hybrid of the interaction of those 2 within your reality. So we have, from 2, we have 6. What happens if we add more ideas? What happens if we add other frames of reference? It starts to become exponential, and we can begin to unpack. And this is the whole goal, right? My job as a Sifu in the martial arts, it's not to have every single answer. It's that I'm further ahead on the journey. I'm further ahead on the same process that you are. Nothing overly special, anything overly more special than you, just further along the process. That means I can tell you, hey, watch your step, duck, lift your foot. I can help guide you to certain things. Don't make my mistakes, make your own mistakes. Let me share with you my mistakes. These are the stupid things I did. Don't do them. Do new stupid things. Do new stupid things and share those stupid things with me, and then we both learn and improve. That's a win-win. Does that make sense? So again, this is a concept that I learned from a guy named Steve Linder, going through these 4 questions, and it was tied to something called PARB. And PARB, P-A-R-B, PARB, P-A-R-B, okay? P is your potential. And based on your sense of potential, you are going to take some sort of action. Take a big action, take a little action, a positive action, a negative action. It's all based on your potential and how you feel what's going on internally. Whatever your action is. So the, sorry, my phone's running out of room. I got to go clean crap off of it. So you're going to get a result, always, positive or negative. And your result is going to drive you over to a belief. And then a belief is going to drive to your sense of potential about how you're doing. And so this can be a virtuous cycle and it spins you up, or it could be a negative cycle that spins you down. Because if you believe one thing and then your actions don't pay out and you don't get the result and you believe less about yourself, you're going to feel a sense of potential and take smaller and smaller actions and diminish. Or you're going to take bigger and bigger. And so these 4 questions are designed to help support how do you evaluate the actions that you take and the results that you get. Does that make sense? And that's it. So that was what I wanted to cover with you guys today. And then I want to finish with, I have this book, Your Best Child Ever, Is This Game Worth Winning? It's the only parenting book I've ever seen that has a money-back guarantee on everything that's in it. Covers 12 different main concepts. One concept, how to play games you can win with for you and for others. Has a series of exercises, a series of little games inside that. And I'm making that book available for free this week. And I'm going to make it free forever. The only thing I'm asking is for people to pay shipping and handling to get a copy. Now, what I would like you to do is when it goes live, which should be either tomorrow or Wednesday, but when it goes live, I'm going to ask you if you could share this out with your network. Maybe pick 5 or 10 people that you think these people need to hear this. They need to play a different game, and they're open to the possibility. Obviously, don't cram stuff down someone's throat if they're not asking for help. But if we can get 10 families, if everyone I know, I have 1,500 friends on Facebook, we could help 15,000 families. Is that going to be enough to start shifting the dynamics that are at home, the dynamics at school, the dynamics in business, to start getting more positive energy out in the world? I don't know, but I got to take the shot. And I need your help to get there. So if you found these lives over the last almost month now, every week, I'm doing 4 to 5 a day, or I'm sorry, 4 to 5 a week. If you found these helpful, if you found information, please share, please comment, please be ready. Hit the notification button so you know when I'm going live so that you can get an update. You can be part of this. I want to create a movement. How do we help families and kids play win-win games? You feel good, I feel good in the exchange. And if we can't, we change the game. Because that's the key. It's all about the games we play. And how do we create the game that we can game it? Because human beings are not lazy. We're designed to win the games we play. So how do we create a win-win game? The more I game it, the more I win and you win. The more you game it, the more you win and the more I win. Danny, thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate that. So this is what I'm going to ask, right? That's my ask, is if you found value in the last almost month of content that I've been putting out for free, and it's valid stuff. It's not little gimmicky crap or here, let me do this thing, but then you got to go sign up here to get more stuff. I'm serving from my heart. Here's what needs to happen. I'm asking from you now is just share it, right? If you live in the U.S., it's $7.95. If you live outside the U.S., the shipping will be based on your country. I think Norway should have been like $24, but I didn't set things up correctly, so it ended up being $7.95. So I lost a lot of resources on that. But ship to Norway, ship to Canada. I'd love to ship a copy to you. In fact, buy 10 copies. Okay? So you guys make it an outstanding day. Enjoy your Memorial Day here in the U.S. Remember what this day is about. It's not just food and fellowship. There's also sacrifice in there. So let's keep that in mind. And you guys make it an outstanding day. And I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for tuning in. And bye.